Yes, people. Hope everyone's good. Hope you're all good today. How is everyone? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, we're 9 days into the July, and the meltdown, the recruitment, the transfer meltdown has already started. So I'm just gonna show some graphics and talk about it a little bit very quickly. Um, yeah, it happens every year. It's the same every year. There's three things I want to talk about. The first one is the climate. The climate of the championship. What's going on in the championship? What's going on in the world of football? Not even the championship, football. The entire world of football. The climate. Because every year there is a different climate. Some years teams spend loads. Some years there's loads of transfers, but they're all little amounts. Some years there's 3 or 4 big transfers. Everything's a trickle effect to what happens at the top. Everything. Absolutely everything. If a team at the top buys a player for 90 million, a club has then got 90 million who can bring in 4 or 5 more players, which means 4 or 5 more clubs lose big players. It's a trickle effect. You know, if we want to bring in a winger from this club, but this club say, well, we can't sell you this winger until we get a replacement, but we can't get our replacement because the team above us need to get their replacement in for their winger. It's a trickle effect. That's the key aspect. And you've got to remember, and I know what people are going to say, I know. No excuses. This is not an excuse. This is the climate. This is the literal situation in front of you. This is the problem. It's a different thing. The excuses comes from the kind of the contract side of it that we had, the problem we had with the loan players last year. That was an excuse. We literally had no idea. The ownership side of it came in late. Farker came in late. Because of that, we couldn't sign players till late. We didn't know who was leaving till late. That was the excuse last year. None of that is an excuse now. But that doesn't change the recruitment situation. That doesn't change how easy or hard it is to bring players in. That doesn't change that at all. That doesn't change a thing. It's still the same situation. Players we want need more time, more negotiation. Because there is 4 or 5 other clubs, probably all of which are at a higher league and level than us, that also want that player. Right? And that's the facts. That's the way it is. The situation we're in, the problem we have with being a club that wants to be at the top, we have to recruit to be at the top. And every player we want is wanted by teams in higher leagues than us. And that's just the situation we're in. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go through our promotion rivals and the teams around us to see what they've done, to try and understand the meltdown, okay? So we'll start with Sheffield United, right? Sheffield United have a lot of issues off the pitch, right? Let's see who they've brought in. Right, they brought in Jamie Shackleton, and an under-21s recruit's been promoted. That's it. One player. Burnley, probably our biggest rivals with Luton for the champ. Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say. So Burnley there, and let me just clarify this: Mike Trezor and Esteban Esteve, I don't know, whatever. They were the players they brought in. Them two there for 18 and 12 million. Those are obligations from the Premier League, by the way. They brought them in the Premier League, and they were obligations to buy. They had to buy them. There's a lot of talk. Look online, especially for Mike Trezor, well, both of them actually, of them both leaving. For what it's worth, they didn't have good Premier League seasons, especially Mike Trezor, who's a very good player, by the way. There's a lot of talk that they won't be here, and they were obligations. They had to buy them, and they overpaid. So they brought in one guy from PSV Eindhoven, under 21s, I believe he played in. He was a decent fullback. But yeah, so one player. Luton Town, just been relegated as well. By the 9th of July, they have also brought in one player who is a free agent, Shandon Baptiste. We brought in Joe Rodon and Cairns, so 2 players. Joe Rodon, Joe Rodon, by the way, who was wanted by Premier League clubs. We have him. We brought in that guy. That's an excellent signing. You've also got to consider this, people. The PSR stuff. So the new rules and all that, I don't really care. But the fact of the situation is we couldn't, us and a lot of other teams, couldn't sign players before the 30th, right? Otherwise, we'd literally be deducted points, and no one wants that. So we couldn't do that. And that's the same for a lot of clubs. The only teams that... So I just ignore the chair. I need another chair because my back... Whatever. But the point is, a lot of clubs couldn't spend until that deadline unless you were one of the clubs who was fine financially. We weren't because we got relegated, so we literally couldn't. We had to sell. We sold for 40 million and other assets as well. So we now have that financial position to buy players. But again, like I said, just because you have all the money to buy players doesn't necessarily mean you need to do it quick and as soon as possible. You have your targets. And like I said, these targets you have are also targets from other clubs. Okay? So that's the caliber of player we're going for, and that's the difficulty we have in every window we're going to be in the Championship. Because the financials we have doesn't mean you can just spend loads of money. That's reckless. You have to spend it right. Negotiations take long. Callum O'Hare, for example. Callum O'Hare is a free agent. Just go get him. Can't just go get him because Callum O'Hare is a good player and is wanted by Premier League clubs. So he will take time, and the power's in his hands. He's a free agent. He will take time to decide what he needs to do. Okay? That's on him. We can't rush that. We can give him this brilliant wage packet, this brilliant project. You'll play every game, and then he'll go, but will I play every game? I was like, what do you mean? Well, look at your squad. Right? Well, look. Well, I'm a 10, right? Well, Jorginho Rutter played 10, and he's quite good, isn't he? And then they'll go, well, Jorginho might play that wide, and they'll go, well, what about Nonto and Somerville? Or they might go, and then O'Hare's thinking, they might though. They're not. They're still there. So as it stands right now, I'm not going to start. I could go to the Premier League and come off the bench. Or I could go to this team and play. I want to play. The point is, it's hard to bring these top players in and promise them minutes. And I'm telling you this from experience. It's so tough. When you already have these assets, and I'll show you the assets. I'll visualize it for you. And again, people, because I have to clarify this. This is not an excuse. This is part of the job. This is it. This is the recruitment situation. This is what you have to do. Every player you know of, someone else knows of. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. The excuses came from the contract situation and everything like that, not from the recruitment process. That is exactly the same. That is as tough as it always is going to be. It's tough. We're in the Championship. We want high caliber players in the Championship. Lower Premier League teams are going to want them players too. Teams in the Bundesliga, teams in France, teams in Italy, teams in Spain are going to want them players. That's the situation we're in. Like, you look at this right now, and from a player perspective who doesn't play for the club, they don't care about how good, or they're going to leave anyway. They don't work like that. You want to bring in a winger, for example, right? You want to bring in a top winger who's scored and got loads of goals and assists last year, would be great for us, right? And you want to sell him the project. And he's like, okay, I'm willing to move to the Championship. 1 season away from the Premier League, good. You look at that winger, and he goes, right, let me look at the squad real quick. He's a left winger. And Leeds United go, we want to bring you in. You want to be our number one. We want to start you. He's going to go, well, Somerville's very, very good. He's still there. Yeah, but we're going to sell Somerville. You going to? 100%? Yeah. Right. This winger might have another top club, but there's no Somerville. They're going to go, well, you're going to start for us right now, guaranteed. It's there. We have no one in your way. You're going to get minutes. You're going to play. You're going to play every game. You're going to increase your value. If we don't go up, then, you know, we can sell you because you'll play every game. Players look at it. They're not going to take that risk and go, well, Somerville might go, so I'll go there. You know what I mean? And even if Somerville goes, they're going to go, well, Willie Nonto playing the Premier League really well. He's still there. Dan James is still there with an excellent season. There's no guarantee I start. I want to start. I want to be a guaranteed starter. So we're going to go, well, Nonto probably goes well. Probably? Or will he? Point is, a winger coming in right now, it's a tough sell. A top winger that wants to play every minute. Because you have 3 really good wingers. So the point is, we have to be ready and waiting for when this is close to being sold. When the Somerville situation, when Somerville is close to being sold and he's literally on his way to thing, that's when we have to go to our targets and go, look, there we go. There's a place for you. Please come in. Guaranteed game time. Let's go. Until then, from a player perspective, they're not going to take the risk that Somerville might go. Because to them, they're not part of this. They're not a fan. They're just looking at it going, well, he's still there and I'm not guaranteed game time. And I want to play. Because I want to get to the Premier League. I want to increase my value as well. Right? And it's the same for every position. You say you want to bring in a 10, a Callum O'Hare, for example. He's going to go, well, regardless of what we think of the players, his representatives and his agents as well are going to go, well, in the 10, you have Aronson and Rutter. Aronson just came from the Bundesliga, played in the Premier League. Georgina Rutter got 16 assists and 6 goals last season. He was one of the best players in the league. I'm not getting in. So this is about knowing. You have to know your squad, and that's why it's key that we get rid of players first. So we understand what we have there, who we can bring in terms of, are they a star player? Are they a squad player? Are they someone that's going to be willing to fight for that position? Right? You have to know these things. So yeah, it's not, and this is not, like I said, this is the same for every club. Every club has different types of problems, right? A lot of lower clubs in Championship, like you know, your Coventry's, your Plymouths, for example, they've brought a lot of players in. Bristol City, but they're less proven in other leagues, which means there's less, you know, teams wanting them, right? We're going to try bringing players who, in other leagues or in our league, whatever, have proven it more, which means there's more competition. It's a different situation they have. Their risk is that the player might not work. Our risk is the player won't come because we have too many good players in that position already. It's the exact same. That hasn't changed since last year, and that won't change because we are a relegated side. That is the problems we have. So what we have to do, we have to be smart with it. We have to be quick with it when the opportunity is there, and we have to look at key positions. Again, you're looking for a right back right now. Rasmus is, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but the point is, look at that. We need a right back. Any right back that you want right there that is willing to play at this level, we are number one. We are number one. So whether that's Connor Roberts, who was very good at Burnley the other season in the Championship, very good, or someone else, the right back is an easy sell right now. Centre back to Joe Rodon was an easy sell. 1, he had no competition. 2, he was here last year and he was excellent. And 3, you know, he wants to be part of that team that's going to the Premier League, right? Easy sell, boom. Nice. Now we got to do the same for right back. Who are we going to get in who's guaranteed to play? Because that'll make the decision so much easier. And then you look at the 8. And this is where I think the 8 will be quite simple. No 6 is coming into the club, by the way. You're going to get a 6. He's going, well, you got Grove and Ampadu. I'm not guaranteed to start. I want to start. Fair enough. Kamara is the only 8 at the club. There's potential you could bring in an 8, but even in that situation, Elzate, for example, who said he wants to play in a top tier league, and that's the situation, that's the type of player we want, that caliber, they want to play at the top. So they come into a Championship side and say, well, Kamara's quite good. I'm not guaranteed to start, am I? Farker will obviously tell them, well, not guaranteed, but you can fight for your place. You have to find the right balance. But we definitely need an 8. The right back is an easy sell because we don't have one. We simply don't. Obviously, Byron can play that role, but we don't have a 46-game starting right back right now. So that is a position I think Leeds United should look for quickly and get it done. The wingers and stuff will come around when either of them are close to being sold, and it's a like-for-like replacement. They literally said this. The club said this. If we lose a top asset in Somerville, we will bring one in. You can't bring them in 2-3 weeks before. The point is, when you lose him, you're prepared and ready to go, and that's the risk you play. Same for striker. The only situation you bring a striker in is if Patrick Bamford has a long-term injury. Daniel Farker says to the striker, I see pro as a 10. The only real competition is Matteo Joseph. Then the striker might go, okay, well, I back myself. I'm going to play. I'm going to start. Okay? That's the situation. It's about getting guaranteed game time for these top players because they are top players. They're not going to sit on a bench in a Championship side. They want to play. And if you've got Somerville, James and Nonto on the wings, you've got Ampadu, Gruev, Kamara, Strout, Rodon at centre-back, Firpo at left-back. You're going to look at that and go, well, I'm not guaranteed game time. I could go to a slightly lower club, like a Norwich or a Middlesbrough, and play every minute, increase my value, and be in the Premier League next year. I could come to you guys, maybe play 20 odd games, not have a great season, maybe not get that Prem move. You know, so these negotiations take time. These things take time. That's the fact of the situation. Relax. It's literally the 9th. We've only really been able to buy players since the 30th, since the first 8-9 days. We signed 2 players in 8-9 days. Chill out. It's fine. And just really quickly before the end, look at this from last year. Didn't have the manager problem, had the ownership problem, but the second that got into thing, and look, from the 24th of August to the 1st of September, we brought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. 5 players in literally a week. Once we're in flow, once we got the players out and we know what we need, we move quick. But the initial process to find the right people and to wait for the other clubs to react and the other clubs to make business so we can actually get these players in until they're willing to sell them, that is when we will go for it. I think we'll get one in by the end of this week. I think that might be a right back, and I believe that might be Connor Roberts. I don't know, but I think we get one in. But yeah, that's it, people. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate your support. Don't want to leave this too long.